The space around Earth looked empty and peaceful on that Tuesday morning. The sun cast its warm light across the blue planet, while small ships moved between the orbital stations like busy ants. Everything seemed normal and quiet, but deep in space, something dark was coming. The first signs appeared on the long-range sensors at Luna Station. Captain Jake Morrison was drinking his morning coffee when Lieutenant Amy Rodriguez called out from her control panel. Her voice carried a note of worry that made Jake set down his cup and walk over to her station. "Sir, I'm picking up some strange readings at the edge of our solar system," Amy said while her fingers moved quickly across the control buttons. "These energy signatures are huge, much bigger than anything we've seen before." Jake looked at the display screen. Numbers and graphs showed energy levels that seemed impossible. "Are you sure the sensors are working right?" "I've checked them 3 times, sir. The readings are real." Amy turned to face him. "Whatever is out there, it's big and it's heading our way." Jake felt a cold feeling in his stomach. He had been the commander of Luna Station for 6 months. Now, his job was supposed to be easy: watch for asteroids, manage supply runs, and keep the peace around Earth's moon. Nobody had told him he might have to deal with alien visitors. "How long until they reach us?" Jake asked. Amy looked at her calculations again. "At their current speed, maybe 12 hours. But sir, if they decide to go faster, ... I understand." Jake walked back to his command chair. "Send a priority message to Earth Command. Tell them we have unknown contacts approaching our system. Large energy signatures, possibly hostile." While Amy sent the message, Jake thought about his training. The military had always taught them about the possibility of alien contact, but most people thought it was just theory. Now it looked like theory was about to become very real. Down on Earth, Dr. Nathan Pierce was working late in his underground laboratory in Colorado. The facility was hidden deep inside a mountain, and very few people knew it existed. Nathan had spent the last 15 years of his life working on projects that the public could never know about. When the emergency message came through on his secure computer, Nathan stopped what he was doing and read it carefully. Then he read it again. His hands started to shake slightly as he reached for his phone. "This is Pierce," he said when the call connected. "We have a code red situation. Unknown alien fleet approaching Earth. I need all team leaders in the main briefing room in 30 minutes. Nathan had been preparing for this day for a very long time. Project Aegis was his life's work, and now it might be humanity's only hope. He walked through the corridors of his secret base, past rooms full of strange machines and weapons that looked like they came from science fiction movies. Truth was, some of them did come from aliens. Over the past 50 years, several alien ships had crashed on Earth. The governments of the world had kept these crashes secret while their best scientists studied the technology. Nathan was one of those scientists, and he had learned things that would amaze and terrify ordinary people. Back on Luna Station, Jake watched as more details came in from the long-range sensors. The alien fleet was massive, at least 200 ships of various sizes. The largest ones were bigger than anything humans had ever built. They moved in perfect formation, like a military parade, and they were definitely coming toward Earth. "Sir, we're getting more information," Amy reported. "The fleet is slowing down. They're taking positions around our solar system, like they're planning something." Jake nodded grimly. "Any response from Earth Command yet?" "Yes, sir. General Walsh wants to speak with you directly on the secure channel." Jake put on his headset and switched to the encrypted communication line. General Kevin Walsh's voice came through clearly from his command center deep beneath the Pacific Ocean. "Jake, I need you to listen carefully," the general said. "What you're seeing up there is the beginning of something we've been preparing for since before you were born. I need you to follow my orders exactly, no matter how strange they might seem. Understood, sir, Jake replied, though he felt confused. How could Earth have been preparing for something like this? First, I want you to activate Protocol 7 on your station's computer system. Use your command codes. Jake had never heard of Protocol 7, but he did as ordered. When he entered his codes, new systems came online throughout Luna Station. Displays he had never seen before lit up with information. Weapon systems that were not supposed to exist powered up automatically. What is all this? Jake asked in amazement. Luna Station is not just an observation post, Captain. It's one of Earth's primary defense platforms. The weapons you're seeing have been hidden there since the station was built. You and your crew are about to become our first-line defense. Jake looked around at his small crew. Amy was staring at her console in shock as new sensor arrays came online, giving them a much clearer picture of the approaching alien fleet. The other crew members were discovering that their peaceful station had become a warship. Meanwhile, on one of the alien ships, Admiral Kextar was reviewing the information his scouts had gathered about Earth. The report made him smile with his sharp teeth. According to the data, the humans were a primitive species that had barely learned to travel between planets. Their weapons were simple chemical explosives and metal projectiles. They had no energy shields and no real space navy. This will be easier than our last 3 conquests, Kextar told his officers. The humans won't even be able to resist us properly. We'll give them one chance to surrender, then take what we want. The Zephyrian Empire had conquered 47 worlds in the past century. Each time, they followed the same pattern. Arrive with overwhelming force, demand surrender, destroy anyone who resisted, then take the planet's resources and enslave the survivors. It was a system that had never failed them. But Admiral Kextar didn't know that human intelligence officers had been intercepting alien communications for decades. He didn't know that crashed alien ships had given humanity access to advanced technology. Most importantly, he didn't know that the primitive humans had been watching and preparing for exactly this kind of attack, as the alien fleet moved closer to Earth. Both sides prepared for what was about to happen. The Zephyrians expected an easy victory against a defenseless world. The humans were about to show them how wrong they could be. The stage was set for a confrontation that would change everything. In less than 24 hours, the galaxy would learn that there are few things more dangerous than underestimating humanity. Admiral Kextar stood on the bridge of his flagship and looked at the blue planet growing larger on his main screen. Earth appeared so peaceful and defenseless from this distance. His 4 eyes gleamed with satisfaction as he reviewed the final attack plans with his officers. Begin the standard conquest formation. Kextar ordered his fleet commanders. Position the heavy cruisers around their largest population centers. Ready the bombardment weapons for demonstration strikes. The Zephyrian fleet moved with practiced precision. These aliens had done this many times before. 200 dark ships spread out around Earth like hungry wolves surrounding their prey. Each ship bristled with weapons that could turn cities into glass and reduce mountains to dust. Captain Jake Morrison watched the alien formation from Luna Station with growing tension. The new weapon systems that activated were impressive, but his small crew felt very alone against such a massive enemy force. The aliens had enough firepower to destroy Earth's entire civilization several times over. Sir, they're taking bombardment positions, Lieutenant Amy Rodriguez reported from her enhanced sensor station. Energy readings show they're charging their main weapons. Jake opened his communication link to Earth Command. General Walsh, the aliens are preparing to attack. What are your orders? General Kevin Walsh's voice came back steady and calm from his command center beneath the Pacific Ocean. Hold your position, Captain. Do not engage until I give the order. Trust me, Everything is going according to plan. Jake wanted to ask what plan the general was talking about, but military discipline kept him quiet. He had been trained to follow orders even when he didn't understand them. Still, watching 200 alien warships prepare to destroy his homeworld was testing his faith in his commanders. On the alien flagship, Admiral Kekstar received reports from his scout ships. The information confirmed what he already believed about these humans. Their technology was primitive, and their defenses were almost non-existent. A few orbital platforms and some small patrol ships were all they had to protect their world. Excellent, Kekstar said to his tactical officer. Open a communication channel to the planet. Let's give them a chance to surrender before we demonstrate our power. The alien transmission reached every radio and television on Earth within seconds. Kekstar's image appeared on screens around the world as he delivered his ultimatum in broken human language. People of Earth, I am Admiral Kekstar of the Zephyrian Empire. Your world is now under our control. You have one of your hours to surrender completely. If you resist, we will destroy your cities and enslave your survivors. Choose wisely. In his secret facility beneath Colorado, Dr. Nathan Pierce watched the alien broadcast with his team of scientists and engineers. The underground complex was buzzing with activity as hundreds of people prepared systems that had been built in secret over many years. Arrogant as expected, Pierce said to his assistant, Dr. Lisa Carter. They really believe we're helpless. Lisa nodded while checking status reports on her computer. All Ghost Fleet units are in position and ready for emergence. The shield generators around major cities are fully charged. Quantum torpedo production facilities are running at maximum capacity. Pierce smiled grimly. The aliens had no idea what they were really facing. For 50 years, humanity had been preparing for this exact scenario. Every crashed alien ship had been studied and reverse engineered. Every intercepted alien communication had been analyzed for tactical information. Every advance in human technology had been secretly enhanced with alien knowledge. Begin Phase Alpha, Pierce ordered. Activate all defensive systems, but keep them invisible for now. Let's see how confident our visitors remain when their weapons start failing. Around Earth, invisible energy fields began to form over every major city. The shield generators were based on technology taken from a crashed Altarian scout ship in 1987, but human engineers had improved the design far beyond its original capabilities. These shields could stop any known alien weapon, and they were completely undetectable until activated. Admiral Kekstar waited exactly 1 hour for the human response. When none came, he gave the order his species had given 47 times before. Begin the demonstration bombardment. Target their 3 largest cities with minimal force. Just enough to show them what will happen if they continue to resist. The alien fleet opened fire. Brilliant beams of energy lanced down from space toward New York, London, and Tokyo. Each beam carried enough power to level several city blocks and kill thousands of people. The attack was designed to terrorize the humans into immediate surrender, but something impossible happened. The energy beams struck invisible barriers above each city and simply disappeared. The alien weapons that had destroyed the defenses of 47 worlds had no effect on Earth at all. The cities below remained completely undamaged, while the shield generators absorbed and redirected the attack energy harmlessly into space. On his flagship bridge, Admiral Kekstar stared at his tactical display in shock. The readings showed 0 damage to any human target. His officers looked at each other in confusion and fear. Impossible, Kekstar hissed. Increase power to maximum. Hit them again. The second alien bombardment was 3 times stronger than the first. The energy beams that struck Earth's shields could have melted through solid rock or vaporized entire mountains. Again, they had no effect at all. The human cities remained perfectly protected. "Admiral," his science officer reported with a trembling voice, "our weapons are completely ineffective. Whatever shielding technology these humans possess, it's more advanced than anything in our databases." Kekstar felt a cold fear beginning to grow in his chest. In a century of conquest, the Zephyrian Empire had never encountered shields that could stop their weapons so completely. How could a primitive species like humanity possess such advanced defensive technology? "Commander Lisa." Carter smiled as she monitored the alien communications from her position aboard the stealth ship Phantom. The small reconnaissance vessel was hidden behind Earth's moon, completely invisible to alien sensors. Lisa had been listening to Zephyrian military channels for years, and she could hear the growing panic in their voices. "Earth Command, this is Phantom," Lisa transmitted on the secure human frequency. "The aliens are completely confused by our shields. They're trying to analyze our defensive systems, but getting no useful data." General Walsh's voice came back immediately. "Excellent. Begin Phase Beta. It's time to show them what happens when you threaten humanity." All around the solar system, space itself began to shimmer and distort. What the aliens thought was empty vacuum was actually filled with human ships using advanced cloaking technology. The Ghost Fleet had been waiting in perfect position for this moment. Dr. Pierce activated the final systems. From his underground command center, "All units, prepare for emergence. Remember, we want to send a clear message to the galaxy. Humanity is not defenseless, and we don't appreciate uninvited guests." Admiral Kekstar was still trying to understand how his weapons had failed when his tactical officer screamed in terror. The alien's display screen showed something that should have been impossible. Human ships were appearing everywhere around the Zephyrian fleet. Not just a few patrol boats or defensive platforms, but hundreds of advanced warships that seemed to materialize out of nothing. The aliens found themselves completely surrounded by an enemy they hadn't even known existed: the ships that decloaked. Around the Zephyrian fleet were unlike anything the aliens had seen before. Each human vessel combined the best of Earth technology with improvements based on captured alien designs. They moved with impossible grace and carried weapons that defied conventional understanding. "How many ships do they have?" Kekstar demanded. "At least 300, Admiral. All showing advanced energy signatures. They're more powerful than our intelligence reports, indicated by several orders of magnitude." Kekstar realized with growing horror that his empire had made a terrible mistake. The humans were not primitive at all. They had been hiding their true capabilities while studying their potential enemies. Now the Zephyrian fleet was trapped between Earth's impenetrable shields and a human navy that had appeared from nowhere. "Prepare for battle," Kekstar ordered, but his voice lacked its earlier confidence. For the first time in his long military career, he was facing an enemy that might actually be stronger than his own forces. The humans had spent 50 years preparing for this confrontation. In the next few minutes, the Zephyrian Empire was about to learn why underestimating humanity was the last mistake they would ever make. The moment General Walsh gave the order to attack, space around Earth erupted into deadly chaos. The human ships that had been hiding in perfect silence suddenly came alive with weapons, fire that lit up the darkness like 1,000 stars. Captain Jake Morrison watched from Luna Station as the battle began. The first human salvo struck the alien fleet with precision that seemed impossible. Bright explosions bloomed across enemy ships as weapons he had never seen before tore through alien armor like it was made of paper. "My God," Lieutenant Amy Rodriguez whispered from her station. "Look at those weapons. What are we firing at them?" Jake could barely believe what he was seeing. The human ships were using energy beams that passed right through the aliens' shields and exploded inside their hulls. Other weapons seemed to bend space itself, crushing enemy vessels from the inside out. This was technology far beyond anything he thought humanity possessed. Admiral Kekstar screamed orders at his crew as his flagship shook under human weapons fire. "Return fire. All ships, engage the enemy." The Zephyrian fleet tried to fight back, but their weapons seemed almost useless against the human ships. Energy beams that could destroy cities bounced harmlessly off human shields. Plasma torpedoes that had leveled entire civilizations simply disappeared before reaching their targets. Colonel Ryan Murphy piloted his ship Valkyrie through the alien formation like a deadly dancer. His vessel moved with impossible grace, dodging between enemy fire, while his quantum torpedoes found their marks with perfect accuracy. Each torpedo he fired would phase through the alien shields and explode directly inside the enemy ship's reactor core. "Target acquired," Ryan said calmly as he locked onto a massive alien cruiser, firing quantum torpedo spread. 3 torpedoes streaked toward the enemy ship, passed through its shields like they didn't exist, and detonated simultaneously inside the vessel's engine room. The alien cruiser broke apart in a brilliant explosion that could be seen from Earth's surface. Doctor Nathan Pierce monitored the battle from his command center deep underground. Status reports flooded in from human ships across the battlefield. The engagement was proceeding exactly as planned. Decades of preparation and secret weapon development were paying off in ways that exceeded even his most optimistic projections. Enemy casualties at 30% and rising, his assistant Lisa Carter reported. "Our losses are 0. The aliens can't seem to hit our ships at all." Pierce nodded with grim satisfaction. The human ships were using adaptive shielding technology that learned from each enemy attack and adjusted automatically. Every time an alien weapon struck a human shield, the defensive system became more resistant to that type of energy. It was like fighting an enemy that became stronger with every blow. Commander Lisa Carter aboard the stealth ship Phantom continued monitoring alien communications. What she heard made her smile coldly. The Zephyrian fleet commanders were panicking, as their supposedly superior technology proved completely ineffective against human defenses. "Admiral, we've lost 40 ships in the first 2 minutes," one alien captain reported. "Our weapons have no effect on their vessels. Request permission to retreat." No retreat. Admiral Kekstar shouted back. "The Zephyrian Empire does not flee from primitive species. Concentrate all fire on their largest ship." But the aliens couldn't tell which human ship was the largest or most important. The human fleet moved as one coordinated unit, with no obvious command structure or flagship. Every ship seemed equally dangerous and equally protected. Major Susan Blake flew her experimental fighter Phoenix through the heart of the alien formation. Her ship was small compared to the massive enemy vessels, but it carried weapons that could punch holes through their heaviest armor. The neural interface technology in her cockpit let her think and react faster than any normal human pilot could manage. "This is Phoenix," Susan transmitted as she targeted another alien ship. "Beginning. Attack run on enemy dreadnought." Her fighter dove toward a vessel 10 times its size, weaving between defensive fire with movements that seemed to defy physics. When she fired her particle cannons, the beams carved through the alien ship's hull like a hot knife through butter. Secondary explosions rippled along the enemy vessel as its internal systems overloaded and failed. The Zephyrian dreadnought listed to one side, its engines dead and its weapons offline. Susan's single fighter had crippled a ship that could have destroyed entire cities. Back on Luna Station, Jake Morrison coordinated with the main human fleet while his own station's hidden weapons joined the battle. Luna Station's particle beam. Arrays reached across space to strike alien ships with surgical precision. Each shot disabled enemy weapons or engines without destroying the vessels completely. "Sir, why aren't we just destroying them all?" Amy asked, as she watched another alien ship drift helplessly after being hit by their weapons. "Because we're not murderers," Jake replied. "We're sending a message. Surrender and live, or keep fighting and die. The choice is theirs." Admiral Kekstar made that choice when he ordered his remaining ships to form a final attack formation. All vessels ram the human ships. If we cannot defeat them with weapons, we'll destroy them with our hulls. The desperate alien maneuver failed before it even began. Human tractor beam technology, enhanced with improvements learned from studying crashed alien ships, simply stopped the enemy vessels in space. The Zephyrian ships found themselves unable to move forward, no matter how much power they applied to their engines. "Impossible," Kekstar whispered as his flagship was held motionless by invisible forces. "How can they control our movement from such distance?" Dr. Pierce watched the alien fleet's futile struggle against human tractor beams and decided it was time to end the demonstration. All ships cease fire. Open communication channels to the surviving alien vessels. General Walsh appeared on screens throughout the Zephyrian fleet. His calm expression was more terrifying to the aliens than any weapon could have been. "Admiral Kekstar," the general said in perfect Zephyrian language, "your fleet is defeated. In exactly 3 minutes and 42 seconds, you have lost over 150 ships. Your remaining vessels are disabled and helpless. Do you wish to continue this battle?" Kekstar looked around his damaged bridge at his terrified crew. Half his fleet was gone, destroyed by weapons he didn't understand, wielded by a species he had thought was primitive. The other half was trapped by technology that made his ships as helpless as insects caught in a spider's web. "How is this possible?" Kekstar asked. "Your species barely has space travel. Our scouts confirmed you had no advanced weapons." General Walsh smiled coldly. "Your scouts saw exactly what we wanted them to see. Humanity has been watching your empire for 50 years, Admiral. We've studied your tactics, analyzed your technology, and prepared for this day. Did you really think we would remain defenseless while you conquered world after world?" The truth hit Admiral Kekstar like a physical blow. The humans had been playing a game of deception that lasted decades. While his empire thought Earth was a primitive backwater world, the humans had been building a secret military force specifically designed to defeat Zephyrian technology. "You have 30 seconds to order your remaining ships to surrender, General," Walsh continued. "After that, we will resume our attack. I suggest you choose wisely, Admiral. Your empire has already learned that humanity does not make empty threats." Kekstar looked at his tactical display one more time. 63 ships remained operational out of his original force of 200. The humans had achieved total victory. In less than 4 minutes of combat, his proud fleet had been reduced to scrap metal by an enemy that shouldn't have existed. "All ships," Kekstar transmitted with a voice heavy with defeat, "cease fire and prepare to surrender. The battle is over." As the alien weapons powered down across the remaining Zephyrian vessels, the human fleet maintained their positions, but stopped firing. The first phase of humanity's message to the galaxy was complete. Any civilization that threatened Earth would face consequences they could never imagine. The Zephyrian Empire had learned the hard way that there are few things more dangerous than underestimating a species that has had 50 years to prepare for war. The silence that followed Admiral Kekstar's surrender order was deafening. Across the battlefield, the remaining Zephyrian ships drifted helplessly in space, while human vessels maintained their attack positions. The proud alien fleet that had arrived with such confidence was now nothing more than floating wreckage and defeated survivors. General Kevin Walsh studied the tactical display in his command center beneath the Pacific Ocean. The engagement had lasted exactly 4 minutes and 37 seconds from the first shot to the alien surrender. In that brief time, humanity had destroyed over 130 enemy vessels while suffering 0 casualties. "Begin recovery operations," Walsh ordered his fleet commanders. "I want every piece of alien technology cataloged and studied. This is a learning opportunity we cannot waste." Captain Jake Morrison watched from Luna Station as human salvage ships moved between the debris fields. The specialized recovery vessels were equipped with technology he had never seen before, using tractor beams and matter transporters to collect alien components for analysis. "Sir, what do we do with the survivors?" Lieutenant Amy Rodriguez asked while monitoring the communications from the disabled Zephyrian ships. "We follow the rules of war," Jake replied. "Even alien wars. We provide medical assistance to the wounded and safe passage home for those who surrender. That's what separates us from them." Dr. Nathan Pierce coordinated the technological recovery effort from his underground facility. Every destroyed alien ship represented decades of advanced research that could benefit humanity's future development. The quantum torpedoes and adaptive shields were impressive, but Pierce knew there was always room for improvement. "Focus on their engine technology," Pierce instructed his teams, "and see if you can recover any of their communication systems intact. Understanding how their Empire coordinates across such vast distances could be very useful." Meanwhile, Admiral Kekstar sat alone on his damaged bridge, staring at the debris of his once mighty fleet. His career was over, his reputation destroyed, and his empire would soon learn that their expansion had finally met an immovable obstacle. The humans had not just defeated his fleet, they had humiliated it. Commander Lisa Carter aboard the Stealth. Ship Phantom intercepted communications between the surviving alien vessels. The Zephyrian officers were arguing among themselves, trying to understand how such a disaster could have occurred. Their voices carried fear and confusion in equal measure. "How do we explain this to the High Command?" one alien captain asked. "Over the communication channel. They will never believe that a primitive species defeated our entire invasion force. The evidence is all around us," another captain replied bitterly. "Our ships are destroyed, and our weapons were useless. The humans were never primitive at all. We were deceived." Lisa smiled as she recorded every word. The alien communications would provide valuable intelligence about the Zephyrian Empire's internal structure and military capabilities. Knowledge was power, and humanity needed every advantage they could get. Dr. Pierce received reports from human medical teams who were treating wounded aliens rescued from the debris. The Zephyrian physiology was different from humans, but their basic needs were similar. The medical teams worked tirelessly to save alien lives, following humanitarian protocols. That surprised many of the prisoners. "Why do you help us?" one injured alien officer asked through a translation device. "We came to destroy your world." The human medic treating his wounds looked up with tired but kind eyes. "Because that's who we are. We don't kill helplessly wounded beings, even our enemies. Maybe your empire should learn that lesson." General Walsh prepared to deliver the most important message in human history. The communication would be broadcast to every surviving Zephyrian ship, then transmitted back to their home empire. It would also be sent to every other alien civilization that had been monitoring the battle. "This is General Kevin Walsh of the United Earth Defense Force," he began, his image appearing on screens throughout the alien fleet. "Today your empire learned that Earth is not the defenseless world your intelligence reports claimed." Walsh paused, letting his words sink in before continuing. "For 50 years, humanity has known about your empire and others like it. We have watched you conquer peaceful worlds and enslave innocent civilizations. We have studied your tactics, analyzed your technology, and prepared for the day when you would come for us." On his flagship, Admiral Kekstar listened to the human general's words with growing understanding. The defeat of his fleet was not a lucky accident or a case of superior numbers. It was the result of decades of careful planning and preparation. Scouts reported that humanity had primitive weapons and no real defenses, Walsh continued. They saw exactly what we wanted them to see. While you believed we were helpless, we were building a military force specifically designed to counter your advantages. The general's calm tone made his words even more terrifying to the alien survivors. This was not the boastful speech of a conqueror, drunk on victory. This was the measured statement of a species that had coldly calculated exactly how to destroy their enemies. The weapons that defeated your fleet today represent 50 years of human innovation, combined with technology recovered from crashed alien vessels. Every system on our ships was designed with one purpose: to prove that humanity will not be enslaved or destroyed by any force in the galaxy. Major Susan Blake continued flying patrol patterns around the disabled alien ships in her fighter Phoenix. Her neural interface allowed her to monitor dozens of communication channels simultaneously, watching for any sign of deception or hidden weapons among the survivors. "Phoenix to command," Susan transmitted. "All alien vessels are maintaining surrender posture. No hostile actions detected." "Understood, Phoenix," came the reply from General Walsh. "Continue monitoring, but do not engage unless threatened." The human fleet maintained perfect discipline throughout the recovery operations. Despite their overwhelming victory, there were no celebrations or acts of revenge against the defeated aliens. The human soldiers and pilots went about their duties with professional efficiency that impressed even their enemies. Colonel Ryan Murphy supervised the interrogation of captured alien officers aboard his ship, Valkyrie. The questioning was conducted according to strict humanitarian protocols, with alien rights respected even in defeat. "How many worlds has your empire conquered?" Ryan asked through a translation device. The alien prisoner, a mid-level commander named Vexai, answered reluctantly. 47 systems have joined the Empire in the past century. Joined or been forced to join. Ryan pressed double quotes, most dot. Most did not choose to join willingly, Vexai admitted. But that is the way of the galaxy. The strong take from the weak. Not anymore, Ryan replied quietly. At least not when the weak include Earth's allies. General Walsh's broadcast continued with words that would change the balance of power throughout the known galaxy. We do not seek conquest or domination. Humanity wants only to live in peace and protect those who cannot protect themselves. But any civilization that threatens Earth or our allies will discover that there are things in this universe more dangerous than weapons or warships. The general looked directly into the camera, his expression deadly serious. The most dangerous thing in the galaxy is a species intelligent enough to hide its true capabilities and dedicated enough to spend 50 years preparing for a war it hoped would never come. Admiral Kekstar felt a chill as he realized the full implications of the human general's words. Earth was not just defending itself. It was announcing its emergence as a major military power. The balance of the galaxy had shifted in less than 5 minutes of combat. Your empire assumed Earth was defenseless, Walsh concluded. You were wrong. You assumed humans were primitive. Your fleet was gone in 5 minutes. Take this message back to your leaders. The age of easy conquest is over. Humanity is watching, and we are ready. As the transmission ended, the surviving Zephyrian officers sat in stunned silence. They had come to Earth expecting to add another helpless world to their empire's collection. Instead, they had encountered a force that could destroy fleets and reshape the political structure of the entire galaxy. The Zephyrian Empire would never be the same after this day, and neither would any other civilization that had built its power on the conquest of weaker species. Humanity had announced its presence to the galaxy in the most decisive way possible, and the message was clear. Earth would not be conquered. and its people would not be enslaved. The age of human expansion into the stars was about to begin, built not on conquest, but on the respect earned by those who had proven they could defend themselves and their values against any threat the universe might send their way. 3 days after the battle, Admiral Kextar stood in the medical bay of a human ship, watching his wounded officers receive treatment from alien doctors who had every reason to hate them. The human medical team worked with skill and compassion that confused and humbled the defeated Zephyrian commander Dr. Sarah Williams. The chief medical officer aboard the hospital ship Mercy checked the vital signs of an injured alien pilot. The young Zephyrian had been badly burned when his fighter exploded, but human medical technology was slowly healing wounds that would have been fatal in alien hospitals. "Why do you save us?" the pilot asked weakly through his translation device. "We came to kill your people." Dr. Williams looked at him with gentle eyes. "Because every life has value, regardless of what species it belongs to. That's something your empire never learned." Admiral Kextar felt shame wash over him as he watched the scene. In 50 years of conquest, the Zephyrian Empire had never shown such mercy to defeated enemies. Prisoners were usually enslaved or executed, not healed and treated with dignity. General Kevin Walsh arrived at the medical bay to personally oversee the prisoner exchange. The surviving Zephyrians would be sent home in their remaining functional ships, carrying with them the story of their defeat and humanity's unexpected mercy. "Admiral Kextar," Walsh said formally, "your people are ready for departure. We've repaired your ship's life support systems and provided enough supplies for your journey home." Kextar struggled to understand this alien concept of honor. "You could keep us as slaves or execute us as examples. Why do you let us go free?" "Because we want your empire to know exactly what happened here," Walsh replied. "Dead prisoners can't carry messages. We need you alive to tell your leaders that humanity offers a choice, peace or destruction." The human general's words carried a weight that made Kextar's blood run cold. This was not mercy born from weakness, but calculated strategy from a species that thought several moves ahead of their enemies. Dr. Nathan Pierce monitored the departure of the alien survivors from his command center. The battle had provided more technological advances than 50 years of research could have achieved. Human scientists were already incorporating Zephyrian innovations into their own designs, making Earth's defenses even stronger. The shield generators can now absorb and redirect enemy fire as usable energy, his assistant Lisa Carter reported. The quantum torpedo guidance systems have been improved by 30%. We're becoming more powerful with every engagement. Pierce nodded with satisfaction. "Good. Send the technical specifications to all our hidden facilities. When word of this battle spreads, other empires will come to test us. We need to be ready." Captain Jake Morrison watched the alien fleet depart from Luna Station. Only 63 ships remained from the original force of 200. The survivors limped away from Earth's solar system like wounded animals, carrying news that would shake the foundations of galactic politics. "Sir, we're receiving communications from other alien civilizations," Lieutenant Amy Rodriguez reported. "They want to know if the reports about the battle are true." "What are you telling them?" Jake asked. "The truth, sir. That humanity is no longer hiding, and any species that threatens Earth will face the same fate as the Zephyrians." Word of the 5-minute war spread across the galaxy faster than anyone expected. Within weeks, ambassadors from dozens of alien civilizations were requesting diplomatic contact with Earth. Some came offering trade agreements and alliances, while others came to assess whether humanity posed a threat to their own empires. Altarian Republic was among the first to reach out. Their ambassador, a tall blue-skinned being named Zoran, arrived at Luna Station aboard a sleek diplomatic vessel. The Altarians had been fighting the Zephyrian Empire for decades without success, losing 3 worlds to alien conquest. "We offer alliance with humanity," Zoran told Jake during their first meeting. "Your species has achieved what we thought impossible. Together, we could liberate the worlds enslaved by aggressive empires." Jake forwarded the proposal to Earth Command, where General Walsh and his advisors debated humanity's role in galactic politics. The decision they made would affect the future of countless civilizations. "We accept defensive alliances only," Walsh finally decided. "We'll help protect worlds that cannot protect themselves, but we won't become conquerors ourselves. That's not who we are." Dr. Williams found herself treating more than just battle wounds in the weeks following the engagement. Many of the alien ambassadors who visited Earth were suffering from stress-related conditions caused by the rapidly changing political landscape. "Your species has upset the balance of power that existed for centuries," explained Ambassador Thelara of the Centauri Coalition. "Some civilizations are terrified that humanity will follow the same path as other dominant species." "Then they have nothing to fear," Dr. Williams replied while checking the ambassador's health readings. "We're not interested in ruling anyone. We just want to live in peace." But peace, as humanity was learning, sometimes required the threat of overwhelming force to maintain. The Corvan Empire tested Earth's resolve 6 months after the Zephyrian defeat. A small Corvan fleet approached the human colony on Proxima Centauri, demanding tribute and threatening bombardment. The colonial governor's response was swift and decisive. "This is Governor Alex Thompson of Proxima Colony," he transmitted to the Corvan ships. "You have 30 seconds to leave this system before Earth Defense Forces arrive." The Corvan commander laughed at what he saw as an empty threat. His laughter stopped when 50 human warships decloaked around his fleet. The Corvans departed without firing a single shot. Admiral Kextar, meanwhile, had returned to the Zephyrian homeworld as a broken leader carrying news of catastrophic defeat. The Zephyrian High Council initially refused to believe his reports, until other survivors confirmed every detail of the battle. "You're telling us that a single primitive world destroyed over half our invasion fleet in 5 minutes?" the High Chancellor demanded. "They were never primitive," Kextar replied wearily. "They let us believe that while they prepared to destroy U.S., the humans are now the most dangerous military force in the galaxy." The Zephyrian Empire began a rapid withdrawal from their frontier territories, pulling their fleets back to defend their core worlds. Other aggressive civilizations followed suit as news of humanity's capabilities spread throughout known space. Dr. Pierce received reports of these developments with mixed feelings. Human technology had achieved its goal of protecting Earth, but the responsibility of maintaining galactic peace was proving to be a heavy burden. 12 different civilizations have requested human protection in the past month, Lisa Carter reported. "We're becoming the galaxy's police force, whether we want to or not." "Then we'd better make sure we're worthy of that responsibility," Pierce replied. "Power without wisdom leads to tyranny. We've seen what happens when species abuse their technological advantages." General Walsh addressed the United Nations 6 months after the battle, explaining humanity's new role to world leaders who were still adjusting to the reality of their species' sudden importance. "We never sought to become a galactic power," Walsh told the Assembly, "but circumstances have forced that role upon us. We will use our strength to protect the innocent and maintain peace, but we must never forget the lesson we taught the Zephyrians." "What lesson is that?" asked the Secretary General. "That there is nothing more dangerous than underestimating those who appear weak, but are actually prepared for war. We must ensure that we never become the kind of empire we defeated." As the first anniversary of the 5-Minute War approached, humanity looked back on how completely their world had changed. Earth was no longer a hidden backwater planet, but a recognized military superpower whose protection was sought by species across the galaxy. Captain Jake Morrison now promoted to admiral and commander of the new Galactic Defense Fleet, often reflected on that day when 200 alien ships had arrived expecting easy conquest. The Zephyrian Empire had assumed Earth was defenseless, and they had been gone in 5 minutes. But the real victory was not the destruction of an enemy fleet. It was the proof that intelligence, preparation, and dedication could overcome any advantage that size or technology might provide. Humanity had shown the galaxy that even the smallest species could become giants when they refused to accept defeat. The age of easy conquest was indeed over, replaced by an era where civilizations would think twice before threatening worlds under human protection. The galaxy was learning to respect a species that had spent 50 years preparing for a war they hoped would never come, and ended it in 5 minutes when it finally arrived. Earth's secret was revealed, but the message was clear. Humanity would defend itself and its allies against any threat the universe might send their way.